learning a new skill. You're just learning about people.
Mm-hmm.
So people are improving their skills on how to interact with people that are different than them.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, like, I don't think I say this with a lot of compassion and heart, that I don't think there's any way around not feeling a little intimidated, but it's like how we hold it. So, things about you that I don't know. And so, like, I have to have it in me to tolerate the process of learning something new.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we invest in like social justice work, there's really no human wellness without these practices of allyship and advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's wanting to dismantle what you think you know about somebody else.
Welcome to the Erie Wellness Podcast, your go-to source for all things health, wellness, and living your best life right here in Erie. I'm your host, Lauren Brunetti, and I'm so excited to have you here. Each episode will dive into conversations with local experts and wellness professionals who are making an impact in the world of health and well-being. Before we jump in, be sure to like, share, and comment on this episode. We love hearing from you and seeing our community grow. Now let's get started. Happy December, friends. The holidays are officially in full swing here in Erie. Today's guest is someone I'm really excited for you to meet, Coach Alex Vaughan. They offer peer recovery support, life coaching, wellness training, and LGBTQIA plus support right here in Erie. Alex was recommended to me by Christina Pisano of Being Better Neighbors. We actually haven't talked about Being Better Neighbors on the podcast yet, but if you are not familiar, it is a local nonprofit working to embrace Erie's growing diversity and ensure our town stays welcoming and inclusive through community engagement. So I'm so grateful Christina connected us, because Alex brings a powerful blend of lived experience and professional training to the work that they do. And I'm excited for you to hear their story and the perspective they bring to wellness and support in our community. And they are a CAR trained peer support specialist and a nationally certified recovery coach through the Addictions Academy. Their passions lie in cultural transformation, movement as medicine, joy, and honoring the importance of self-identification. Alex, welcome to the Erie Wellness Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Looking forward to our conversation today. So I introduced you a little bit, but I would love for you to start with sharing your story in your own words with our community.
Yeah. So hi, everyone. My name is Alex Vaughan. I use they and them pronouns. I'm a recovery-centered leader with over 2 decades of experience transforming lived experience into strength, compassion, and resilience. As the founder and the CEO of Alex Vaughan LLC, have the hope of the Raven. My story just is, I guess, one of constant transition and transformation. And my background being in the fitness industry as a personal trainer and group fitness instructor. So, and then through personal and lived experience, just really deepening my awareness and consciousness around the intersections of social justice and wellness to live their best life, so to speak.
And you live here in Erie with your family, correct?
I do with my wife and 4 kids and 3 cats and 2 dogs.
Your own little zoo that you have at home. Well, for listeners who might be new to this conversation, can you help us and explain the difference between gender identity, gender expression, and sexual orientation in a way that's simple and makes sense?
Yeah, I think one of the examples I'll use, in trainings is the LGBTQ cul-de-sac. So, we live in neighborhoods, and so on the cul-de-sac, there's 2 houses. One of them is sexuality, and one of them is gender. And so they're connected, but they're really independent. And that gender is really your internal sense of who you feel you are, your energy, and gender is invisible. I think that's a really important for people um, to know, and that what we see is expression and presentation, and that
Mm-hmm.
all people, not just gay and lesbian and trans people, all people have a gender expression. It's the clothes, it's our haircuts, it's our movements, it's our voices, it's everything that defines quote unquote masculine or feminine characteristics, and really it being this flow of just who someone sees themselves to be on the inside.
Mm-hmm. And then what about, so that was gender. Then what about sexuality?
Yeah, sexuality is, yeah, thank you. I was about to go there. That's kind of, again, I think it's important to say that you can know that you're gay or lesbian or, your sexuality without having an interaction with another person. Just kind of to combat that misinformation of, you'll know when you kiss someone else or when you have sex with somebody else, but it's who you share your body with, it's who you share your mind with, your life. It's and sexuality comes in infinite forms, just as many as much as gender.
This is something that you teach inside of your coaching sessions as well, correct?
Yes, I support people on all varying degrees of the continuum. I'll use that word, the spectrum. I work with people who are just coming to consider or I think maybe I'm trans, I think maybe I'm gay. I'm not really, they're just asking a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then I work with people, array of just life skills and navigating systems, and but always acknowledging that they're the intersections of who they are, their identities are absolutely affecting how they're experiencing the world.
Mm-hmm.
We all talk about our best life, or find your voice, but I mean, really, it's kind of I take this perspective of we're always practicing our voice. Like all of us are practicing our voice, and we're practicing ourselves and creating ourselves in real time.
Mm-hmm. And with pronouns, so I know that this is an area where people really want to get it right in the workplace, just in our community, but sometimes can feel nervous about messing up. How do you usually help people understand pronouns and gender just affirming language in a way that feels doable and not intimidating?
I guess first I just want to blame the system that makes people believe they're broken.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of supremacy dominant culture conditions us to stay and feel scared and stay perfect. So from childhood, we've all learned in one form or another that messing up equates to rejection and abandonment. And this is really kind of wound based. It's collective and systemic work.
Mm-hmm.
So an easily accessible framework is ACT. And with pronouns, it's a matter of practice. And so acknowledging that mistakes are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And ACT stands for apologize, correct yourself, and then try again. And then those three things together are showing acknowledgement, and then the acknowledgement shows empathy and emotional intelligence. It's really no different than learning a new skill. You're just learning about people. So people are improving their skills on how to interact with people that are different than them.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, I don't think I say this with a lot of compassion and heart, that I don't think there's any way around not feeling a little intimidated, but it's how we hold it. So, things about you that I don't know. And so I have to have it in me to tolerate the process of learning something new.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we invest in like social justice work, there's really no human wellness without these practices of allyship and advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's wanting to dismantle what you think you know about somebody else.
Mm-hmm. That is really great information. And just letting go of feeling like you need to be perfect and just being generally curious and, just being a great friend and support person for someone. So just wanting to know more about them.
Yeah, and I think, and maybe this is something that all of us can identify with too. Like, a baby that's learning to walk doesn't apologize for falling down. It
Mm-hmm.
it just it crawls and then it stands up and it falls down and it tries again.
Mm-hmm.
So as adults, though, we're like tripping and falling on our faces and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt myself."
Mm-hmm.
um, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just so human, and there's I think there's a bit of play that has to happen in these processes too.
Right. And in these conversations, just being open and upfront, be like, I am new to this if you are. And, please, I mean no harm or anything, but as I'm learning and just getting familiar with the different pronouns and how you would like to be addressed, like just give me some grace as I go through this. I think that's really important too.
Yeah, acknowledgement goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. So, you are also in the movement space yourself with dance fitness classes. Can you share where these classes are located and how people in our community can join one?
Yes, I'm currently at Rocky Mountain Sports Club in Broomfield,
Okay.
and I teach dance magic on Mondays at 9:45, and then every second Saturday at 9:30.
Okay.
And I also offer personal training.
And what do you love most about your fitness classes?
Honestly, I love the exchange of energy that happens in there. That I'm not just up there, dancing around like watch me. It's sharing what I know and a skill that I have through movement, and really encouraging people and getting to witness them like let their bodies tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
And that healing, it's another a pathway through healing that when we can, because sometimes we've gone through stuff that just there's no words for it until our body can kind of surface it, until we can have the musculature and the stamina to talk about it. And so before there's words, there's movement.
Mm-hmm.
There's always movement. And you can put on some music and rage out or sit and but in class I do have more structured. There's choreography that matches the song that I create, but I really encourage people to let them do the best they can with the body that brought them in there, and
Mm-hmm.
let themselves also just create from that baseline.
Right. If their body moves in a different way, it's totally fine. Like let
Yeah,
it
like
come
no,
out.
we're not going to all look the same, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Where do you do your own playlist and everything?
I do. I typically pick songs uh based off of what I'm going through or what I've been through. Like I'm processing something, and I just
Mm-hmm.
pick songs that resonate with me, and of course, that are songs that people know. That's always fun
Mm-hmm.
to sing along too sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Can you share one song that you picked based on just maybe something you've been going through in the past?
Um, the first one that came to mind was Abracadabra by Lady
Mm-hmm.
Gaga.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, she brings in these aspects of spirituality and magic and strength and resilience and courage. And casting spells, casting kindness. That's kind of how I translated it. Like, we're casting out this kindness into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like uh, the grit, the movement that is root chakra. Like get down in the dirt and just move your body. which that I would say that's actually kind of like a theme throughout in the past 15 years that I've taught this class is just like stay messy and gritty and in the dirt because that's where our roots are.
Mm-hmm. And at what point in your story did you come out and start really identifying, who you were?
I'm not the first trans and non-binary person to say that I knew when I was younger. I think there were signs that I can remember as a little kid back to as early as 5, knowing there was something different about me, but not having any language for it. Being drawn to certain things and kind of like feeling shame and guilt about it and feeling really confused that how just feeling really, really confused about, I know I'm not wrong. I just don't have any words kind of thing. And then, I had multiple coming outs because then I came out gay when I was 19 and, we can be in spaces where we have people around us that don't believe that we know ourselves, that they think they know us better than we know that ourselves. And so you just kind of give in to like, right, you know me better than I do, so I'm just going to listen to you. And life went from there. And then I actually had, I got to be 40 years old and Brene Brown's The Midlife Unravel came across my kitchen table. One day I found it and was reading it. I just started to like bawl. And like and the whole message of that blog, of course, is the universe taps you on the shoulder and says, are you going to live authentically or not? Because if you don't, there's consequences. And if you do, there's consequences. Which way do you want to go? And the really big life-changing event that helped me put all of that connect all the dots of things I've felt my entire life was having my daughter share who she was as so, and she just said, I'm a girl. And so that having your kid tell you who they are made me reflect on, if I'm not living honestly, how can I possibly parent her to live honestly? And so it just kicked off like, people call it a midlife crisis. It was absolutely what Brene Brown said. It was a midlife unravel, that everything untrue fell away, everything fake, everything. And I don't say that in like a a finger pointing kind of way, but just, as you become more yourself, we have to leave certain things and parts of us behind, even though, they've always kind of been there. So that was kind of a roundabout, but yeah, basically. So yeah, just started to, and then put myself in therapy and started to do some deeper inner work and, came out, shared that I'm trans and non-binary at age 40. And, yeah, my wife was with me at the time too already. So she, she's like, yep, this makes sense. I see you. I love you.
Yeah. Well, Alex, thanks for giving us a glimpse, into your story and for sharing that here on the Erie Wellness Podcast. Like, I just really want for people to feel supported, seen, loved. So bringing conversations like this is just really important. And now you go out and you teach it yourself, right? And really you're hoping to make an influence on organizations, local organizations. So how do you really go in and change it then?
It requires like a process of integration. So like, head, heart, hands healing is I kind of keep coming back to that, but the healing being the belonging. And so, head being factual, like you're pulling in factual information. And again, this is like the frameworks, the diagrams, the language, the vocabulary, and that can feel overwhelming and like a fire hose in people's faces. And then how it all fits into the systems. And then over time, it's like helping people pull it into their heart. So compassion based, empathetic, like, you might not know someone else's experience in that identity, and that's okay. Just like I'll never know what it's like to be cisgender and straight.
Mm-hmm.
But I respect, it's having this mutual respect for each other. So yeah, and then we go into like the actions. So what are the actions that people take? What can you do? um, and then repetition, rupture, repair, and it creates the belonging.
Mm-hmm. So another one like coaching option for people, in addition to this professional coaching that you offer organizations, but you do offer one-on-one coaching for people who want to learn about how to better support trans and non-binary individuals. You've mentioned it. It's like it's built around the 8 pillars of wellness, and a very anti-shame support approach. But what does the work look like in practice, and who's a great fit for some of these coaching opportunities that you have?
I really work with all people. I think this work is really great for anyone and everyone that wants the information and support. And again, being a trained recovery coach, it's recovery isn't just about using substances or drugs to cope with life. It's how are we interacting with ourselves, with other people, recentering someone's voice, remembering their joy, finding their legs. Like it's allyship, advocacy, and for and again, like this is for everybody, because all of us, we're all in the system. Like no one gets off the hook. I think the trouble is when people are like, yeah, do your thing, just do it over there. But we forget that we're all connected, and that my life does affect that other person's life, and their life affects another person's life. And I mean, we're social, energetic beings.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, recovery being expanded beyond just substance use and addiction in the drug sense, but recovery into like, how are we connecting with each other and people?
Mm-hmm. Going back to your one-on-one coaching, it's peer support, but it's also support for family members as well. Anyone who might be helping another individual, go through this identity change, correct?
Yeah. And I guess the biggest difference, if people are wondering, this is within the realm of mental health, or someone's health. But the difference between like what I do and like a therapist is like a therapist helps you unpack the past.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm using my lived experience and walking alongside someone as they are doing the work. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just there like, here's this tool. How about this one? How about this one? Let's try this. What do you think about this? Like, how does this resonate? How does this feel? So they really are. And, we all stumble, we all fall. Okay, let's get back up. Let's try it again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm acknowledging mental health and psychology and wellness and all these different like big fields, but ultimately supporting that person's voice, because my life is not their life and theirs isn't mine.
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm going to work to reduce the harm on them and help them see that too. Yeah, we go from there. It's not much different than therapy. Like it's about once a week. I can work with people up to I take Colorado Medicaid, so I can work with them up to several hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 12 weeks is a great starter, but really, again, it comes back to what that person needs and where they are in their own life.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with parents who have trans kids who are like, I don't know what to do. I
Mm-hmm.
want to support. I don't even know where to begin.
I love to see parents being supportive of, and just like, we're walking through this together and I want to be a support person for them.
Hmm.
So how do we do
Yeah.
this? Because
Yeah.
I don't know what to do,
Yeah. And,
so.
and a big part with on that note is like, you know, I, I'm the one that educates the parents on here's how your kid fits into like the bigger picture, because the kid doesn't have the can't educate their parents on them, because then that takes energy from the kid. So I can kind of like step in and be like, okay, here's kind of from identity perspective, here's what's happening for them and how they're interacting with the world and how you can support them as their ally.
Mm-hmm. What is your favorite like area of expertise that you like to coach about?
Oh, all of it brings me joy. I think I love all of it for different reasons. But I really my favorite part is just getting to be in space with people.
From your experience, what actually helps queer, trans, and non-binary clients feel safe and supported? And what are a few allyship habits you encourage people to start practicing right away?
Working in fitness and in wellness, for as long as I have, the recovery coaching is a big complement. The two spaces complement each other, and I think when you're asking what actually helps queer and trans non-binary clients feel safe and supported,
Mm-hmm.
some of the most healing moments for me in those spaces was when I heard someone, I could tell someone when someone else is doing the work. And meaning like, when I told them my pronouns, they didn't almost miss a beat. They're like, there wasn't any like a weird face. Or I worked with one person that said, "Hey, Alex, we have name tags on our I'm sorry, we have pronouns on our name tags, and I don't know why." And the first thing that came up was like, why is the company not educating the employees on why this is happening? But I think what I loved about it was, because I love doing this work, is that he had the vulnerability and the courage. He didn't apologize or make it weird. He was just like, I don't know, and I want to know. And so I could use my lived experience and my knowledge to like help him. When someone is very intentional on, I see you, I value you, you mean something, you matter. Like, it's literally in how in treatment. And also, again, like, you can tell when someone's investing in this work. It comes through in the way they talk, the way they communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and sorry, when you were asking about the allyship habits, people can use the acronym ALLY, which stands for acknowledge, listen, leverage, and yield.
Mm-hmm.
And so, an ally is you're living in action. So to be an ally with someone, you're recognizing their reality. And sometimes it means naming. Sorry, I'm like giving a whole lesson here. Do you want to go down this pathway?
Yeah, no, I would love to. I mean, people are probably curious. Like I said, there's wellness professionals that listen to this podcast. So
okay,
give a little lesson, please.
So the A part, the acknowledge, is literally naming what is happening, whether it's harm, it's bias, it's exclusion, or an experience that you haven't lived yet. Acknowledgement is not like an agreement with every single detail. It's like an act of saying, I see you, I see what's happening, and it matters. Like it disrupts the invisibility. And then listening, the next L is more than just hearing. It's like spaciousness, staying curious, and staying really present without shifting the focus back onto yourself. And this is where the practice comes in of like doing your own work on the side kind of thing, or working out with working through things.
Mm-hmm.
And this sounds or looks like people not explaining away someone else's experience or defending or centering your perspective. Like people, can say like, well, my opinion is this. Well, your opinion on someone else's life that would be an example of like, centering more of your own perspective and then not rushing to fix it. So you're trying to create a container with someone that they can tell their truth without a punishment. And then once you can understand what's happening, you can use your power, your access, your privilege to hold and support change. And that's like what the guy that I worked with, who came up to me and said, I have my pronouns. I don't know why. Like, he used his power and his privilege to be like, I want to know so I can now go tell everybody else when I get asked, why it's here. And so then leveraging is about action, not performance. This can look like amplifying someone's voice when they're ignored, intervening when harmful dynamics are happening, and then using your credibility in rooms that they're excluded from. So, like, for example, if a trans person gets misgendered, but they're not in the room, the person there says, corrects, says the correct pronouns. So even though that person's not around, they're still like advocating for the person, which, leveraging their privilege. And then the why is yielding. So you're releasing control, the spotlight, and your ego. You follow the leadership of the people it's directly impacting, and you make room, like you make space, and you let decisions and strategies and narratives be shaped by those who are living the experience. And that's not to say that the identities that have space all the time aren't valid or real. They do matter. It's just trying to create more balance that's grounded in multiple realities, not just your own.
So we have the holidays that are here, and that time can be especially tough for many of the LGBT community. So what would you love families and communities to keep in mind to help make this season feel more supportive and safe?
I think right now, signs and symbols representation are really helpful. Just seeing a flag in a window, or that's warms my heart. Like, my kids and I will drive through the neighborhood and be like, oh, look, a flag. Like, that's like little things that really do add up and matter. People can also donate to LGBTQ owned and operated nonprofits like the Center on Colfax or the Dolores Project, which serves the housing and warmth needs of the trans and non-cisgender community. And then the center does the LGBTQ community as a whole. So all of it adds up.
And is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to share with our listeners before we close out, and or share, like, what do you love about our Erie community here?
I love the conversations happening, of course, like this. I think your podcast is wonderful, of just creating the spaces for these conversations to happen, and which is all part of our wellness. It means a lot, actually. So thank you.
Yeah, no, like I said, I want everyone in our community to feel like they are supported and loved. So, okay. So as we wrap up, what resources do you love recommending, and what's the best way for someone to connect with you or learn more?
I love so many that's a hard question to answer, because I love so many resources. As a peer coach, like, my job really is to plug people into what they need and what they want, and what they're asking for, and kind of, so books, podcasts, organizations, programming. But people can find me on my website at coachalexvaughan.com. They can email me, find me on the socials.
Re-listen to some of your podcast episodes that you have.
Yeah. I swear I'm real.
All right, friends. So that wraps up today's conversation with Alex Vaughan. I hope their story and the work they're doing in our community gave you something meaningful to think about as we head deeper into this beautiful, cozy season. And I hope you are able to enjoy it all in whatever way feels nourishing to you. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you back here next time. Thanks again, Alex, for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
All right, friends, before we wrap up, here's the part I need to share. This podcast is for educational and inspirational purposes only. I'm just your friend behind the mic. Nothing shared on this podcast creates a patient relationship with any of our guests or replaces the guidance of your physician, professional coach, or other qualified expert. And the views shared by guests are entirely their own and don't necessarily reflect the beliefs or values of the Erie Wellness Podcast. My goal is to simply create a space for real, open conversations that help us all learn, grow, and feel a little more connected on our wellness journeys. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you back here next time. That's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Erie Wellness Podcast. I truly appreciate you being a part of this journey. If you loved today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. For more daily wellness inspiration and behind-the-scenes content, be sure to follow me on Instagram at the Erie Wellness Podcast. I can't wait to connect with you again soon.